The classroom was a world, and he was its sole, silent observer. He didn't just see a teacher. He saw the way she pushed her hair back when she was frustrated, the faint coffee stain on her desk every morning, the subtle, sad drop at the corner of her mouth when she thought no one was watching. His fascination was a quiet, burning thing, an ache in his chest that he mistook for love. It started with him staying late, just to ask one more question, to hold her attention for one more minute. The air in the room after the bell was different. It was heavy, private. The line between educator and student, usually so bright and clear, began to blur, like watercolor bleeding on a wet page. He noticed her loneliness, a mirror to his own. She began to talk, not about equations or history, but about the town, about feeling lost, about the color of the sky. He listened, and in his listening, he became something other than a student. He became an anchor. Suspense didn't come with a crash, it came with a whisper. It was the suspense of a door left slightly ajar. It was the tension in her "thank you" when he'd bring her a coffee, the way his hand lingered near hers. It was the growing, terrible silence between them, filled with everything unsaid. He was no longer a boy, he was a confidant. And she was no longer a teacher. She was a woman, vulnerable and seen. The change was inevitable, a storm building on a silent horizon. It happened not in the classroom, but in the empty world outside of it. A chance meeting, a shared ride in the rain, a conversation that lasted too long, drifting into territory that was dangerous and uncharted. The air was electric with the forbidden. The human touch was no longer a pat on the shoulder for a job well done. It was a desperate, trembling connection. And then, the invisible wall that had held them apart for so long finally crumbled. It wasn't a celebration, it was a collapse. The pact was sealed, not with vows, but with a shared, suffocating silence. What they did was to erase the past, to trade the safety of their roles for a moment of raw, desperate human connection. The aftermath was a new, terrifying suspense. The classroom was no longer a sanctuary, it was a stage for their secret. Every glance from another student, every knock on the door was a threat. The love he thought he felt was now a cold dread. The human touch he had craved now felt like a brand. They were bound together, not by affection, but by the weight of their transgression, living in the quiet, agonizing suspense of waiting for the moment the world would find them out. They were a secret, and secrets always, eventually, come to light.